Well, just after midnight, and the chili is done and ready. I've got it just on the warm cycle here. So it's done cooking. I did the braising of the meat and 4 hours of simmering, and I added all my spices and stages. It is beautiful. It is so delicious. I don't even care if I win. I hope this pot comes back. I hope nobody eats it because I want it all. It is absolutely delicious. I did a brand new mix. I did a combination of brown sugar and 2 of my new hot sauces. I didn't go overboard. I mean, it's hot. It'll clear me out, but I could still just chow it down. You know, it's really, really flavorful. I mean, the sweetness is what really makes it right off the bat. And then the heat just sneaks up on you, and it's real steady. I did a blend of the Dave's Insanity and the Smack My Ass. Where'd they go? Right here. Definitely a knockout punch. I only did about 4, maybe 5 drops for the whole thing of the Dave's, and because I didn't want to just ruin the situation for anybody. And then I did, I'm going to say about 2 tablespoons of the Smack My Ass. This is more of an intense heat, and this is more of the build-up heat, and this has a little more flavor. This is just heat. But man, great combo. And then of course I used the Mexican hot chili powder and a can of jalapenos and the Mexican tomato sauce. Just layers of flavor. You taste things as soon as you put it in your mouth, then you taste things as you're chewing it, and then you taste different things as it's just sitting there building up in your mouth. So I hope they enjoy it. And of course I've got my label set up. Mwah. Oh, and the cool thing, I will be able to film. I talked to the wife about it, and she says, well, why aren't you going to come film? I said, well, privacy issues. She's like, no, we all had to sign media releases. That's how the news and the district can come in and film without permission anytime. I'm like, okay, cool. So she's going to bring it in. They have 3 lunch periods, and she's going to bring it in. It's just going to sit here and warming for, the next, 8 hours, 7 hours till she leaves. And it's just going to get more tender. The beef right now is melt in your mouth tender because it simmered for 4 hours after I braised it, and it's just pulls apart. It's just perfect. I just did nice little chunks, and I trimmed them super lean. You don't use them right out of the package. You have to trim them all up. So I just did little tiny bite-sized chunks, and they just poof. I mean, it's delicious. But they have 3 lunch periods, and her period is number 2. So I'm going to go over to the school at 10:30 and meet her in the office, and so I'll be able to film at least some people trying it out. And then they have 1 period after that. I'm not going to stay for that because she'll be teaching. And, like I said, I don't expect to win because she said they're all old women, normal teachers and whatever. And she said most of them are making bean chili. So, I mean, that tells you what kind of chili lovers they are. But, hey, I want to see some reactions. Haha. Well, it's about 8 o'clock. I was going to go for a morning walk here. It's still pretty chilly, but it's also still raining. It's been raining all night. Just can't catch a break here. Roof's still leaking. No change there. But tomorrow through Thursday, it's supposed to be absolutely beautiful, going right back up into the 80s and no rain. So, yay, we'll be able to get some relief here and get the roofer back and get that all taken care of. I was up pretty much all night working, and I'm on like 2 hours of sleep. I was gonna snooze until I had to go up to the school, but I'm up. So put on some coffee, and I think I'm gonna run to the store and get some cereal. I'm gonna try to, I know I mentioned that the other day that I'm not a breakfast person, but I want to try to shift my schedule a little bit. Try to eat breakfast, something just with some good greens in it, like Total cereal or something simple like that, and some skim milk. No big breakfast like eggs and bacon or toast or anything like that. There's no way I could eat anything that big or get into that routine. But a bowl of cereal, I can handle that. Try to get into that habit and see how that affects my appetite during the day and that kind of stuff.
And I also want to try to start cutting back on carbs. I was real good about cutting down on salt and sugar over the last year. Those were pretty easy for me. You know, salt, it was a stage thing. First, I eliminated adding salt to stuff, and I don't remember last time I had a salt shaker out. Seriously, it's somewhere in the cupboard. It's been there for over a year. And I've cut way back on how much I use in ingredients, and my taste has adapted to it, and I don't notice it. I mean, if I were to make things like I did a year ago, they would taste really oversalted to me now. So that was kind of easy, and I don't have a big sweet tooth, so cutting back on sugar and, you know, cutting out all regular sodas and stuff like that, that was fairly easy for me too. But carbs is a big one. I love carbs. I mean, they're in pretty much everything, and they're really good stuff like breads and pastas and pizza dough, and I mean pretzels, and I mean everything seems to be a freaking carb. And my blood sugar is still a problem. I'm not nearly as bad as I used to be. My fasting used to be 160, and they had me on metformin and, you know, all that good jazz. But just through diet and exercise, I was able to get off the metformin, and now it's down to 125, 120, somewhere in there. So it's still high. I mean, it's still 20 higher than it should be. Like at its worst, it's still not where I want it to be. So got some room to work there. But that's just diet. I mean, exercise really doesn't do much for your blood sugar. Helps with your health overall, of course, but it's mostly about what you put in your mouth. And I just got to make some more changes, and that's going to take time. It's nothing that's going to be overnight, but we've got a blood sugar tester here, so we can monitor that pretty closely and regularly without having to go into the doctor. So anyway, I guess I'm going to throw on some shoes and head out to Sweet Bay and get some cereal and hang out here for a couple more hours. Then I'm going to go up to the school and see what people think. The wife got there and set everything up, and she sent me back a couple photos of the stuff lined up. I guess there's going to be about 12 or 15 different crock pots full of stuff, and like I said, it's going to be, you know, 40, 50, maybe 60 people total sampling the stuff, and they got little, you know, tiny sample bowls for that. And, you know, I guess if after that they want to get a bowl of something, they can, but I have no idea. I don't know how much it's going to be left or come home empty or whatever, but tell you what, if that comes home empty, I'm making another batch just for me, because that was really, really delicious. So that was a good variation. Alright, well, I'm going to get to the store. I'm kind of hungry. Just talking about food. Alright, here's my attempt at getting a little bit healthier. Another baby step. Got knockoff Wheaties and Life. Two cereals I like, and two of just about the only ones there, period, without a ton of sugar. I mean, even stuff like Raisin Bran, full of sugar. Just terrible. So, I'm going to give breakfast a shot for a while. See what happens. Alright, let's go find my chili setup.
Oh yeah. You know that room that's been cold all week? This jacket's coming off. Oh yeah.
You feeling it?
Oh yeah. I'm gonna start sweating soon.
It's all on me. And they were like, they peeked their head in when I was staring at them.
Actually, go ahead and email.
Thank you guys.
You do not.
Well, that was fun. I definitely am not going to win because most people in there are real lightweights. But the few people that were brave enough to try it definitely loved it. And I've got a lot coming home for me, so that's good. So it looks like rain for the rest of the day. Last day for it though. So I'll be able to at least get back to a normal exercise schedule without having to work around this. And we can let the roof dry out and get that all patched up, hopefully for the final time. So close. I'm really feeling good about it. I was super excited the other night. Just this one minor little setback, and I will have my room back. Awesome. And I'm glad I'm getting some chili back tonight because it really, really was delicious. And not unhealthy. That meat was as lean as it gets. Just had a little bit of fat in the marbling. That's it. Everything else in there is just spices and the low sodium broth. I mean, whoop-de-doo. So, even if I don't win, which I know I won't, it didn't get judged normally. This is what I don't understand. Everyone had little cards where you could write down your favorites, but they weren't required to try them all. So how can you pick your favorite if you only try one or two? So, whatever. I knew it wasn't, an official, real chili cook-off, so, like I said, didn't know exactly what to expect. Just had fun with it. That's it. See you guys tomorrow.